My husband filed for divorce and laughed to my face until the judge revealed my net worth. I'll never forget the way he laughed that day as he signs our divorce papers. He always thought I was just a naive, small-town girl with no ambition. Little did he know that while he was cheating on me with his coworker, I was building an empire right under his shoulder. Before I tell you how my soon-to-be ex-husband expression completely changed, let me know where you are watching from and hit that like and subscribe button if you ever have to stand up for yourself when no one expected you to be capable. The sound still echoes in my head, sharp, cruel, like a knife twisting in my chest. The man I thought I'd spend forever with stood there, grinning like he just won the lottery, waving the divorce papers in my face. "It's over, Claire," he said, almost gleeful. "You can keep your little job and your pride. I'm done playing house." This was my husband, Daniel, the same man who used to bring me coffee in bed, who said he couldn't live without me. But over the years, that love had eroded into something cold and transactional. I knew he was cheating long before I caught him. The late nights, the sudden need for privacy, the scent of perfume that wasn't mine on his shirts. I confronted him once, and he brushed it off with that smirk of his. "You're imagining things," he said. But I wasn't. I just didn't have proof, yet. When I finally found out who she was, a 26-year-old fitness influencer he'd met at some networking event, I felt like the air had been sucked out of my lungs. He wasn't even subtle about it. He posted pictures of business trips while she uploaded photos from the same hotel room. I could have exposed him right then, but I didn't. I decided to wait. Because Daniel didn't know me as well as he thought he did. He thought I was naive, the loyal wife who stayed home, cooked, cleaned, and supported his career. What he didn't realize was that while he was out building his empire, I'd quietly built one of my own. You see, before Daniel, I was an analyst. Numbers made sense to me. People didn't. So when I left my job to focus on the family, I still worked in the background. Freelance consulting, small investments, and later a few startups. Nothing flashy, nothing traceable under my name. Everything was registered under a trust my grandmother had left me, one Daniel never bothered to read about because, as he once said, legal stuff gives me a headache. When he served me the divorce papers, his confidence was nauseating. He said, "I already talked to my lawyer. You'll get the house and maybe a little alimony if you behave, but honestly, I think it's time you learned how to live without me." He said it like he was doing me a favor. I nodded, keeping my expression blank. Inside, I was boiling, not just with anger, but satisfaction, because I already knew how this would end. Over the next few weeks, I let him think he had the upper hand. He'd moved out into an apartment downtown that his new girlfriend immediately redecorated with my money. Yes, our joint account money. I saw the bank statements, designer furniture, weekend getaways, a ridiculous diamond bracelet. He didn't even hide it. I didn't say a word. I just documented everything. Every purchase, every transaction, every hotel booking. My lawyer, a quiet, sharp woman named Lydia, told me to sit tight. She said, "Let him think he's winning. The longer he believes that, the better this gets." The first court date was chaos. Daniel strutted in like a peacock, expensive suit, new haircut, flashing smiles at everyone like he was the star of the show. His lawyer, a smug man in an even smugger tie, kept glancing at me like I was a charity case. When the judge entered, Daniel shot me that same grin he had the day he served me the divorce papers. I met his eyes and smiled back, just slightly. The proceedings started off as expected. His lawyer painted him as the primary earner who had supported his wife financially. I nearly laughed when he said that. Daniel puffed up proudly, nodding along like the words were gospel. Then came my turn. Lydia stood up, calm and composed. "Your Honor," she began, "my client does not dispute that her husband was the face of their financial life. However, appearances can be deceiving." Daniel frowned. Lydia continued, her voice steady. "For years, Mrs. Collins has maintained independent income and investments entirely separate from marital assets. She has not only supported herself, but accumulated substantial wealth, which she has no obligation to share given that these assets predate and remain legally unconnected to her husband." Daniel's expression shifted from confidence to confusion, then to irritation. "What is she talking about?" he muttered loudly. The judge lifted an eyebrow. "Mr. Collins, you'll have your turn to speak." Lydia handed over a thick folder. Inside were years of financial statements, contracts, and trust documents. My client's net worth as of last month is approximately $12.4 million. The courtroom went dead silent. Daniel blinked. What? He stammered. That's impossible. She doesn't even work. Lydia didn't even look at him. She worked, Mr. Collins. You just never paid attention. He turned to me, his face pale. Claire, what the hell is this? I looked him dead in the eye. It's what happens when you underestimate someone. The judge cleared his throat, clearly suppressing a smirk. Given this information, and considering Mr. Collins' infidelity and misuse of marital funds, the court finds no grounds for alimony. In fact, given Mrs. Collins' documentation of his financial misconduct, restitution will be owed to her. His jaw dropped. Restitution? You can't be serious. Oh, I'm very serious, the judge said. You owe your wife $350,000 for depletion of joint accounts. The look on his face, that's something I'll never forget. His mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. The courtroom murmured. Reporters whispered as he tried to argue, his voice rising, desperate. She set me up. She tricked me. I stood up, smoothing my dress. No, Daniel, you tricked yourself. He lunged forward slightly, but his lawyer grabbed his arm, muttering something about making it worse. He sank back down, defeated. I turned and walked out without another word. Outside the courthouse, the cool air hit my face like freedom. Reporters called my name, asking how it felt to win. I didn't respond. Winning wasn't the point. It was reclaiming the power he tried to take from me. A week later, I got a call from Lydia. She said, he sold the car, trying to cover the restitution. I almost felt bad for him. Almost. But then I remembered every cruel word he said. Every night I cried while he was out with her, and the pity vanished. Months passed. His girlfriend left him once the money dried up. I heard through the grapevine that he moved into a smaller apartment on the edge of town, still insisting to anyone who'd listen that I'd scammed him. Let him talk. Lies were his only currency. As for me, I bought a small villa by the coast. Nothing too flashy, just peace and quiet, the sound of the sea, and my own people. I started a foundation for women starting over after betrayal, because I know what it feels like to lose everything, or at least to think you had, only to realize you had all the power all along. Sometimes, late at night, I think about that courtroom, the way his laughter died when the truth came out, the way the world shifted just slightly in my favor. Revenge isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, dignified, calculated, and delivered in front of a judge with a smile that says you should never have underestimated me. And that, I think, is the sweetest victory of all.